The first thing that you need to do when you are triggered, because it's going to cause an emotional response. Peace and balance. Hey little stars, your girl Mystique Moon here. Welcome to She Sound Off, where we heal your spirit, practice self-transformation, and learn to live in our highest consciousness in the highest version of ourselves. So I know I was supposed to have been talking about toxic relationships and how to end it with yourself, and yeah, I am going to talk about that. But as I was in meditation doing my grounding, the word triggers came up. I've been triggered. I've been triggered this week for a couple of things, but one particular thing that I'm going to talk about at the very end of this video, which led to something amazing, right? But I want to talk about triggers, the misconception of it, and why we are triggered in the first place, and what to do when you are triggered. So first off, let me explain something to you. First and foremost, no one has the ability to trigger you unless it's something that you have not healed from. Let me make that clear from the beginning before I even define what a trigger is, because that word is thrown around a lot. Trigger. He's triggered me. You're trying to trigger me. They're trying to trigger me. No one can trigger you. You are already in your feelings, hurt, traumatized, torn, broken, still feeling something from an emotion that you never healed. For an example, somebody I know used to always try to bring up my past about how I used to party and, just try to bring up those memories that I know that I was trying to run from. And the reason why it used to hurt me, the reason why I had the ability to hurt me, is because I was trying to run from those memories. I wasn't ready to deal with them because I was embarrassed by those memories. That shit used to hurt me. I was trying to create this new version of myself, or step into this new version of who I am, and without trying to deal with my past. That's what triggers are built to do. That's what they are here for. They're here to remind you of what it's time for you to heal from. I almost like to say that a trigger is the perfect way of listening to God's voice, or your source voice, of letting you know that it's time for you to heal that particular thing that you're triggered by. Let's talk about what a trigger is. Now, I'm not going to give you Webster's definition of what the word trigger is. I'm going to give you my definition, and you can go off of it or don't. But a trigger is your emotional response to something or someone, or a situation that has happened that you have not healed yet. It's your body's way of alerting you, but we like to look at it as a bad thing. So when you are having an emotional response to something, I know when I'm triggered on something, I start getting sweaty, I start getting shaky, and I feel like I start to feel like this enormous amount of anxiety creeping up inside of me. Like I start to get and one time I actually had a panic attack because I was triggered by something that I didn't deal with, and that was something that was really big in my life that I really should have been dealing with. And I did. I had a panic attack. And after I had that panic attack, I had to deal with that shit, because who wants to go around triggered all the time? But I want to, again, remind you that triggers are for you. They are meant to let you know that something is going on deep inside of you and it's time to take care of that. Pain is buried so deep within us that we don't even realize that it's causing us mental anguish and stress. We don't even realize that it's causing any issues in our lives because it's buried deep down inside. It's not something that we can instantly understand about ourselves. That's why taking a journey to self is important. Self-preservation is the first law of nature. You can't allow that to take you out of alignment with yourself. You can't allow that to cause chaos into your mind. So you just allow those triggers to happen. Now, I want to quick talk about what to do when you are triggered. Like, what are you going to do? Now you're triggered. Now you're feeling emotional. Now you're all in your feelings. And rather than go off the fucking deep end, handle it. Take a moment to yourself and get your emotions in check. I think that's why a lot of people end up in situations that they don't want to be in, because they're emotionally unstable and immature. The first thing that you need to do when you are triggered, because it's going to cause an emotional response, you need to get your emotions in check, especially if the emotional response is low vibrational, anger, resentment, jealousy. If it's those emotions, you want to check those emotions at the door. You don't want to be walking around holding grudges, being resentful to somebody. I don't give a damn who they is, because again, you are still giving your power away if you are resentful to someone. If you're allowing yourself to be jealous or envy someone, you are giving your power to that person. So check your emotions at the door. How do you check your emotions? You sit in it, away from others. Isolate yourself for just a minute. Give yourself time to process it. Allow those feelings to come up. Recognize them as what they are. Don't lie to yourself. I like to do a lot of journaling. If I'm feeling emotional, I'll say that, bring up that emotion in my journal. I'll write it, and then I'll write, why am I feeling that way? And a lot of times that just releases it, get it out of you, get it out of your system. Or sometimes if you have someone you can trust, you can talk about it with someone who you trust, not vent about the emotion. Here's the thing about venting, y'all. Venting is helpful when you are in this angry space and you need to calm down. But sometimes venting can come across as trauma bonding, right? Because you're going off the deep end and on and on and on about a situation, and you don't want feedback. You don't want someone's advice on how to help you through it or heal it. You're like, oh no, I don't want you to say nothing. I just want to vent. So how are you going to handle that shit? The whole point in confiding and journaling and meditating and doing all this work with yourself is so that you can learn how to manage it, deal with it, call it out. You don't suppress the emotion, but you said, okay, I'm angry, or I'm jealous. When you are dealing with your emotions, use I statements. But I'm jealous because I feel like I this and I that and I this. Use your I statements. And now it puts everything into perspective. Now it's like, okay, now what do I do? How do I move past this? Is it something that I can be better at? Is it something that I need to forgive myself about? Is it something that, I need to go a little bit deeper and handle? But you're at a point where now you can safely deal with it. The next step is awareness. This is the part that we forget. Those emotions are going to come back around. It's called recycled emotions. Those triggers may appear again in your life because it's a reminder. Be aware that you're experiencing that pain, that whatever emotion it is, be aware that you're experiencing it, but also know, but I'm working on myself and I have a lot of work to do. So what I'm going to do is, rather than get upset, rather than feel low, feel down, I'm going to go somewhere and I'm going to, feed into myself by combing my hair or something. Do something that's going to allow you to pass those emotions. Triggers come up. Do not blame another person for your triggers. The triggers are good. They're a good thing. They're meant for you to handle your shit. Triggers are meant for you to handle the frustrations, the anger, the past, traumas. That is what they are there for. You know what I mean? So earlier I said that I was triggered back to something. So being a single mother, especially of a newborn, that brings up a lot of triggers. And our Women of Alignment did it. We did a conversation with the woes that we have on Wednesday on IG. Y'all come check us out too. On Instagram, I'll put the information in the comments. But we did conversation with the woes, and we were talking about baby mamas, baby daddies. Now, I'm a single mother and I have 4 children. And so that triggered the fuck out of me. I'm not even gonna front. Oh my God. And not only because I haven't been triggered really a lot lately, but this one really did something. It did something to my body. My body was reacting like crazy. And so I began to work on that. And that's what I was meditating on earlier. And as I was doing the work that I just told you, it came back up again. When I'm called a baby mama, or I hear the word baby mama be thrown around, I feel less worthy. I'm feeding into myself. I'm constantly in this place of forgiving myself for every decision and putting them all into perspective on how they were part of my destiny, because every child was part of my destiny. They were meant to be here. They summoned me as their mother, you know, and I am highly, highly grateful for it. But yeah, it was a trigger for me because I looked at myself in that light. I looked at myself like just a baby mom, and I am their mother. And that's something that I have to keep reminding myself when someone tries to belittle me with that word. I have to remind myself and be aware that, you know, I am not a baby mama. I am a mother, you know. And it's just something I work through. Everybody got their own shit. So, and that is one of mine. But anyways, y'all, recognize your triggers. Stop giving your power away and allowing a person to trigger you. They're not doing anything. They are probably acting out of emotion themselves, and then it's causing an emotional response within you to start healing, to start working on your own shit. So heal that shit. All right, y'all. That's all I got. I am gonna go ahead and do that video, y'all. I'm probably uploading in about a couple days. How to heal that toxic relationship with yourself. But get those triggers in check. Get them in check. All right. Make sure y'all subscribe to my channel, and remember that self-preservation is the first law of nature. Love yourself before you love anything and anybody else in this world, and lead with your heart chakra, and everything else will follow. Until next time, peace out. I love y'all. Bye-bye. This sun is still giving too. It is giving. Bye, y'all.